Hello and welcome to the Webcast for Friday, November 1st. I'm South Ops meteorologist Jonathan O'Brien. Visible satellite this morning shows a mix of sun and high clouds, with some low clouds in the southern San Joaquin Valley banked up against the adjacent north-facing slopes, thanks to some northwest flow colliding with some trapped low-level moisture. Overall, most places will see a good deal of sunshine today, but the high clouds may tend to increase with time. Today, though, is going to be a nice day overall, and very similar to yesterday. Here's a look at the forecast highs. We are once again several degrees below normal, with highs only in the mid-60s to low 70s in the valleys. It will be an uneventful day, with winds light overall and minimum humidity an unremarkable 20 to 40% in most areas. Today is about the last uneventful day we'll have for a while, though. Water vapor satellite shows a well-defined trough moving into the Pacific Northwest, and additional troughing lined up over the Aleutian Islands and back into the North Pacific. An active weather pattern is expected in the coming days. Unfortunately for us, however, active does not necessarily mean wet. The forecast has changed drastically in recent days. What once looked like a highly promising and potentially even season-ending rain event has all but evaporated in our model guidance, as the trough that was once progged to move offshore of California now looks very likely to track inland over the Great Basin and into the desert Southwest. There is still some rain in the forecast. A band of showers will move from north to south across the region from tonight through Saturday. Isolated to scattered shower activity will then persist mainly in the mountains from late Saturday into early Sunday. But you can see in this high-resolution model projection that the very robust shower and storm activity over Northern California really falls apart as it moves into Southern California, and that's going to really limit our rain totals. It will definitely be an unsettled weekend, however. Temperatures will cool several more degrees Saturday and Sunday, and humidity will become very high across the board. But unfortunately, we're just not squeezing much juice out of this weakening storm. Here's a look at a rainfall map from the model I just showed, and I do think it looks pretty reasonable right now. With current projections, in Central California, most coast and valley locations will receive about a tenth to a quarter inch of rainfall. Mountain areas such as the Santa Lucia Range and also west-facing slopes of the Sierra will receive around a quarter to 3/4 inches of rain, maybe some localized higher amounts, with snow levels dropping to around 6,500 feet and several inches of new snow above that level. But it's a bleaker projection in Southern California, where it now looks like most coast and valley locations will receive less than a tenth of an inch of rain, and even most foothill and mountain areas will only receive about a tenth to a quarter inch of rain. Really wish I had better news on this. It's been a very challenging forecast this week that has ultimately amounted to a nasty bait and switch by our model data. As the trough moves along, there will also be gusty northwest to north winds across the area on Sunday, with winds peaking around 20 to 30 miles per hour with gusts to 50 miles per hour for favored mountain areas. However, RH values look fairly high on Sunday, and combined with the preceding cool and moist weather, significant fire weather issues are unlikely on Sunday. By Monday, winds will turn more north to northeast, and current indications now are that a moderate-strength Santa Ana wind event will occur centered around Monday. As the winds turn offshore, there will be gradual warming early next week for the coasts and valleys, along with significant decreases in humidity, though how low the RH will become is still uncertain. But it does look like fire danger will be on the rise and potentially sharply on the rise in Southern California by Monday. Finally, another trough is currently projected to drop into the Great Basin and Southwest for the middle of next week. A track over those regions would bring a moderate to strong Santa Ana wind event, and I will say that a lot of the current projections are pretty ugly in terms of bringing in a heavy-hitting Santa Ana event next week. However, a track either further east or west would lessen the impacts, and given how wildly inconsistent models have been with this weekend storm, I still really don't have much confidence in next week's forecast. In terms of fuels, dead fuel moistures will continue to increase through the weekend, then will drop sharply early next week, especially in the finer fuels. Live fuel moistures also remain at or near critical levels. They may have ticked up modestly in the past week or so, but there has been little to no new green up across the region from our limited moisture events this fall, and it's likely most fuel beds would still be quite receptive in the event of dry offshore winds. Large fire potential will definitely be on the low side through the weekend due to the cool weather and high RH. But fire potential will increase over Southern California on Monday, potentially becoming elevated or even high depending on the humidity and also the state of the fuels following the weekend's moisture. Projections for the middle of next week should also be closely monitored. Should a moderate to strong Santa Ana event occur, especially following a pump priming offshore wind event early in the week, fire danger would likely become very high, but it will all depend on the weather forecast. So stay tuned as we continue to navigate this unpredictable pattern. That's it for today's webcast. Thanks for joining us. The next one will be on Saturday, November 2nd.